Hello and welcome. You're watching DD India News Hour and I'm your host Preeti. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Air India flight AI-171 Ahmedabad-London Gatwick crashes in Gujarat's Meghani Nagar with 242 on board right after takeoff. Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks to the Minister of Civil Aviation. Ram Mohan Naidu takes stock of the Air India crash. Home Minister Amit Shah speaks to Gujarat Chief Minister, assures to provide all possible central assistance. A dedicated passenger hotline number 18005691 released to provide more information. An Air India flight AI-171 Ahmedabad-London Gatwick has crashed in Gujarat's Meghani Nagar. As per the information received, there were 242 on board. The 787 Dreamliner aircraft took off at 1:38 p.m. local time and crashed just 5 minutes after takeoff in a residential area. Prime Minister Narendra Modi personally spoke to the Minister of Civil Aviation, Ram Mohan Naidu, and took stock of the Air India flight crash incident in Ahmedabad. The minister informed the Prime Minister that he is rushing to Ahmedabad to oversee rescue and relief operations on the ground. Prime Minister has directed the minister to ensure all necessary support is extended immediately and asked to be kept regularly updated on the situation. All relevant agencies are on high alert and coordinated efforts are underway. Meanwhile, Home Minister Amit Shah is also en route to Gujarat. He has spoken to Gujarat Chief Minister on phone and assured to provide all possible central assistance. Rescue and relief operations are underway at the site of the Air India plane crash in Ahmedabad. An operational control room has been activated at the Ministry of Civil Aviation to coordinate all the details with contact details 011 2461 0843. I repeat 011 2461 0843 and 9650 391 859. I again repeat 9650 391 859. Up on your screens we have the Ahmedabad Police Help number also. A green corridor to transport injured passengers for treatment and to bring them to the hospitals is also being established. President Draupadi Murmu has expressed deep distress on the tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad. On social media platform X, she said that it is a heart-rending disaster. She has extended her thoughts and prayers with the affected people. She further added that the nation stands with them in this hour of indescribable grief. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also expressed grief. In a post on X, he said, and I quote him, "The tragedy in Ahmedabad has stunned and saddened us. It is heartbreaking beyond words. In this sad hour, my thoughts are with everyone affected by it. Have been in touch with ministers and authorities who are working to assist those affected." We'll get you more updates on this plane crash that happened in Gujarat, but at present we'll take you over to MEA press conference that is being held in the national capital.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to this press briefing. With that, I open the floor for questions. So we start here. Ayushi.
This is Ayush Iqbal from ANI. So my first question is, what is the latest update that the ministry is getting on the Ahmedabad air crash? Has our External Affairs Minister spoken with his British or Canadian counterpart? And second one is related to the recent telephonic conversation between our Prime Minister and the Canadian Prime Minister. Did the Khalistani extremism issue came up during the talks? And how do you look at India-Canada relationship ahead of Prime Minister's expected visit to Canada this week?
Suvita?
Sir, could you give us an understanding of India's engagement with China on the rare earths material issue, given the fact that it's been having a significant impact on industries like auto in India? Are there any timelines that you're looking at with respect to arriving at a resolution in this matter? And secondly, how are you looking at this move by the Chinese government?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Shivam.
This is Shivam Patel from Reuters News. Question related to Canada. Prime Minister is going to Canada for the G7 summit. How do you view India's relationship with Canada in this context? And would you consider reinstating the expelled diplomats? Yeah. One more question, sir. Prime Minister Carney, in the Canadian readout, Prime Minister Carney apparently said that Prime Minister Modi agreed to engage in a law enforcement dialogue. Could you just expand on that, please? Thank you.
Okay. Siddhant?
Hi, sir, Siddhant from Beyond. So we have seen a lot of comments coming from the American administration. In fact, their top military officials called Pakistan a counter-terror partner, and we have seen similar statement coming from other officials. So how does India views the American statements that Pakistan can be a partner when it comes to counter-terror cooperation?
Okay. Rishabh?
So good evening, Rishabh from Times Now. So first question, Mohammed Yunus is in United Kingdom, and yesterday he made a comment about a conversation with our Prime Minister saying that he wanted, or Bangladesh wanted Sheikh Hasina to be restrained, and India did not respond appropriately is what he has said. Apart from that, sir, also...
Sorry? Okay. So, Ayushi, first, your question. What has happened in Ahmedabad is a very tragic accident. We have lost a lot of people. We extend our deepest condolences to all those who have lost their loved ones. There are, I understand, several foreigners also. Those updates you will receive from the relevant departments, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Air India, and others. They are putting out something, I guess, soon. That's the latest that I can share. We also, it's still an evolving situation. Rescue operations are on, so you'll have to wait a little more time for exact details to be put out. But you would have seen, that everybody is concerned, and we once again convey our deepest condolences to all the families who have lost their loved ones. On Canada, we had a question from Shivam and also from you. So I will combine both these issues. As you are aware, our Prime Minister had received a call from the Canadian Prime Minister last week. During the call, Prime Minister Carney had invited Prime Minister to attend the G7, and as you are aware, the invitation has been accepted. It was also an occasion for the two Prime Ministers to talk about India or reflect on India-Canada relations and how do we take it forward. As you are aware, India-Canada are vibrant democracies which are bound by shared democratic values and a steadfast commitment to the rule of law, and of course very vibrant people-to-people ties. We believe that the forthcoming meeting between the two leaders on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Kananaskis in Canada will offer an important opportunity for them to exchange views on bilateral and global issues and explore pathways to set or reset the relationship based on mutual respect, shared interests and sensitivity to each other's concerns. Our views on some of these have already been shared publicly in considerable detail. Now, a specific question that you asked, Shivam, responding to that, I would say that there are existing mechanisms between Indian and Canadian law enforcement agencies that have discussed issues of mutual security concern over a period of time. This engagement is likely to continue. Sumita, your question about rare earths. We have been in touch with the Chinese side. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce and General Administration of Customs in early April, as you would be aware, had announced the decision to implement export controls on certain rare earth related items. We are in touch with the Chinese side both here in Delhi as also in Beijing to bring predictability in supply chain for trade consistent with international practices. Siddhant, your question on the comments made by interlocutors in the United States. See, the record of Pakistan, of what Pakistan actually is very clear. We all know Pahalgam attack is only the recent example of cross-border terrorism. I would remind you that only recently one of the conspirators of 26/11, Tahavu Rana, was extradited from the United States to India. Obviously, none of us have forgotten that Pakistan gave shelter to Osama bin Laden. It is significant that the person, and you would be aware, Dr. Shakil Afridi, who helped locate Osama bin Laden, is still imprisoned by the Pakistani military. Rishabh, a question about the comments from the Bangladeshi side. See, our approach to engagement with Bangladesh, our ties with Bangladesh is well known. I have said so from this podium several times. We want a positive and constructive relationship with Bangladesh that is anchored in the aspirations of the people of the two countries. Can we go forward? Keshav?
Thank you, sir. This is Keshav Padmanabhan from The Print. I have two questions. The first one is the situation in West Asia. The US has put out travel advisories for non-emergency personnel in Iraq, has also put out a travel advisory in Israel earlier a few hours ago, and there is some tension between Israel and Iran being reported. Has the Indian MEA taken notice? Is there any such advisories on our nationals in the region given the large population? And I just wanted to understand our position on the growing tensions there at this specific moment in time.
Okay.
My second question, sir, is there were two calls between Indian and Canadian leaders, the prime ministers as well as the foreign ministers in the last week. Specifically, sir, was anything raised on Sikh separatism or any law enforcement cooperation over the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Neha.
Good evening, sir. This is Megha from NewsX. My first question is about this Pelican project, where Canada has busted a drug racket that involved financing anti-India activities. What is the Indian Ministry of External Affairs reaction to this? Also, is there any information regarding Prime Minister Narendra Modi's bilateral meetings with other heads of states at the G7 summit? And also a reaction on source-based information that Asim Munir, the Field Marshal of Pakistan, has been invited for the military parade that is taking place on the 14th of June. However, the Indian general has not been invited.
Okay. Huma.
So I'm Huma Siddiqui from Strat News Global. I have two questions. One, do you have any update on the Indian illegal immigrants post the ICE getting very aggressive in Los Angeles. That is one. And the second, there are reports that a lot of Indian students are being deported from the UK. Do you have anything on that?
Please.
So Kunal Dutt here from PTI. My question essentially is on the volatility in California, especially the Los Angeles, where we are seeing for the past couple of days the crackdown by the Trump administration. Is India monitoring the situation, given the fact that on the West Coast a lot of Indian community is living? Has any Indian family reached out to the consulate or the embassy in United States? And number two,
Everybody is asking two questions. I would really urge that please keep your questions to one, so that we can give chance to everybody, and I am also in a position to answer all the questions because I have to take down in detail. So my request, please ask one question each.
okay, should I get second question?
अगली दफा कर लेना.
Okay.
ठीक. हाँ, Ajay.
Jaiswal sir, Ajay Banerjee from the Tribune this side. Sir, when the Prime Minister goes to Canada, will there be, I'm just citing what you have said in these briefings in the past, that we have asked Canada to take action against illegal immigrants, gangsters, you named some of those, we named some of those, living in Canada. Will that matter of gangsters living in Canada be raised again with Canada?
Gautam.
Sir Gautam Bahari, the disturbing reports are coming out from Bangladesh that Rabindranath Tagore's, one of the ancestral house, which was actually converted to a museum, has been ransacked on a very silly excuse. So whether Government of India has taken note of it, because Rabindranath Tagore is written the two national anthems for both the countries. So it's really a shameful. And if you allow me just to add, I know that, I will like to later. Thank you.
Okay, we have 5 questions, or I would say 7, 8 questions, so please. Keshav, first, the situation in West Asia. Obviously, we are following the developments very closely. And yes, we have a large diaspora population in that region. Our embassies all across the region, they are in touch with our community members and also guiding them on their safety and security. If we have any more updates to share with you, we will surely do. On your question on the talks telephone conversation between leaders of Canada and India. See, we have put out a detailed press release, as also we have through other mediums informed you as to what was discussed. And essentially, again, while I was answering the question earlier on Canada, I said both leaders have discussed and reflected upon the bilateral ties. How do we take it forward as the next step, or reset it? So obviously, when we get another chance to talk about our relations, these things would be very important as to what is the path forward for India-Canada ties. Having said that, I also spoke that we are two democracies. We are bound by rule of law. We have an expansive economic engagement. We have large people-to-people connections. We have a big student community there. We have companies invested on both sides. We have technology collaboration. So there's a lot more. There are lots that can be discussed, and for both countries to gain from each other's engagement. Mega on anti-India activities, whether it is Canada or anywhere else, we have made our point very clear, and our security concerns are important for us, and we expect our international partners to take into account our concerns and act accordingly. On the bilateral meetings and what sort of engagements that are going to be there, surely we'll be in touch with you, and we'll keep you updated as things progress. On the invitation part, I think I would urge you to be better informed as to who are the people who are invited. There are foreign leaders who have been invited or not. So please, I would urge you to look at take your question to the American side. They will be in a better position to answer it. Kuma, on ICE action, I don't have any update on the kind of, any update to share with you as far as Indian nationals are concerned. But having said that, we have made our position very clear, of which you are aware that, as and when, if there is a person who's illegally staying, not just in the United States, but anywhere in the world, if he or she, his nationality is verified, and we are certain that he or she is an Indian, then we obviously take them back. India, as a matter of policy, we want to strengthen legal migration, and we are against illegal migration. Again, on the students from the UK, I don't have an update for you, but deportation matters, movement of people. If there are somebody illegal staying somewhere, again the same procedure we follow, and it is something that continues with not just with UK but anywhere else. Likewise, in India also we have people who are illegally staying here. We connect with their embassies, their countries, and follow due procedure for their deportation. Kunal, on the situation in Los Angeles, we are aware of the developments, and as you are aware, that we take the safety, security, and welfare of our citizens abroad with utmost seriousness. The LA region and California in general, it is home to a large community of Indians. We advise all Indian nationals in the region to take suitable safety precautions. Our consulate in San Francisco is closely monitoring the situation, and remains in close touch with our community members for their welfare. Ajay, on Canada, as to what has been the conversation so far, we have given an account earlier, and also while I was answering question on India-Canada relations, I did mention that this reset of the relationship is based on mutual respect, shared interest, and sensitivity to each other's concerns. Our views on some of these issues have already been shared publicly in considerable detail. As to what sort of conversation we have when we are there in Canada, we'll keep you updated on this matter. Now, on the question of vandalization in Bangladesh, we strongly condemned the despicable attack, and vandalization of the ancestral home of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore by a mob on 8th June 2025. The home, historically called Rabindra Kachari Bari, is located, as you would know, in Sirajganj district of Bangladesh. The violent act is a disgrace to the memory and the inclusive philosophy and teachings that the Nobel laureate espoused in Bangladesh. The attack falls in the broad pattern of systematic attempts by extremists to erase the symbols of tolerance and eviscerate the syncretic culture and the cultural legacy of Bangladesh. We urge the interim government to rein in the terrorists and take strict action against the perpetrators to prevent reoccurrence of such incidents that sadly have become a repetitive feature. Can we have more questions? Sudhi?
Sir, Sudhiranjan from Bloomberg, sir. Going back to the plane crash that happened today, is there any understanding that you can give us as to whether India has ruled out foul play in the crash? And if you allow me a second question, sir, any details you could give us on the visiting Chinese dignitary and the talks that he's having?
Siddharth?
Hi, sir. I'm Siddharth from CNN News 18. Sir, I have one specific question that when we will meet Canadians, then are we going to raise the issue of transnational gangs operating in Canada? And going by the information, then India had also given a dossier to the Canadians, the list of gangsters operating from Canadian soil. And my second question is, sir, also the kind of threats that the South Asian community is getting, extortion threats from such gangs. Thank you.
Agni.
So this is Agni from ABP. It's been reported that son of former Prime Minister of Bangladesh came to Delhi and they celebrated Eid together here. Can you throw some light on this, sir?
Divya.
So Divya from the Indian Express. On Canada again, you mentioned a reset of ties. So is there a thought about restoration of high commissioners on both sides, and if yes, then has there been any conversation on that? Thank you.
Okay. So Sudhi, first you're on the plane crash. I'm sure you're following the developments. It has happened a few hours ago. We have several agencies of Government of India who are working on the disaster, the tragic accident, and we'll have to wait for more details on this particular incident. Details of the visiting Chinese dignitary, we have a regular conversation with our Chinese counterpart. We have a visitor in town, and hopefully we'll give you a readout as to what sort of discussion we've had with him. Siddhant, see, when we have discussion with any country, issues that are of mutual concern are discussed, and as far as our conversations with Canada is concerned, we will keep you updated with all that is discussed among the interlocutors and the leaders. Agni, on your question specifically, I don't have any information to share with you or confirm. Divya, on reset of ties, yes, this, as I told you, we are exploring pathways to reset the ties, and we'll see as to how we take things forward. So I'll stop there for you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this session. Thank you very much.
So that was MEA spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal addressing the weekly press conference by the Minister of External Affairs, and he talked about, in fact, he answered questions by the press reporters there. Talking of the Ahmedabad train crash, he said that it is tragic, and he extended the deepest condolences to those who've lost their loved ones, and rescue and relief operations are continuing, and he did mention that details are awaited. Talking about the phone call between Prime Minister of India and Canada, he said that both the countries are vibrant democracies bound by rule of law, and he did talk of the forthcoming meeting of the Prime Ministers of both the countries on the sidelines of the G7 summit will offer an opportunity to set or reset the relations, and also will give an opportunity to both the countries to share views on global issues of mutual interest and concern. On the topic of rare earths, here the MEA spokesperson said that India is in touch with China, and the control on certain rare earths is being taken up, and India is in touch with China to bring in credibility on this. He also talked of how India shares a productive, positive and constructive relationship with Bangladesh in line with the concerns of people from both the sides. Talking of the situation in West Asia, the MEA spokesperson said that we are following the situation closely, and MEA is in touch with the community members in West Asia. Talking of the anti-India activities anywhere in the world, the spokesperson said that our security concerns are important, and India expects the international partners to take that in account. He also talked of illegal migration, and he said that India's position is clear on this. Any person illegally staying in any part of the world, India is ready to take the person back, and also as it is so because India encourages a policy of legal migration. Talking of the situation in Los Angeles, he said that India is concerned about taking safety and security of our citizens with utmost priority. India takes safety and security of our citizens with utmost priority. It is a concern for India, and the consulate in San Francisco is monitoring the situation closely. Talking of the vandalization in Bangladesh, the MEA spokesperson says that India condemns the despicable act of attack on Rabindranath Tagore's home in Sirajganj district, and the attack is a disgrace, and India urges the government to take strict action against the perpetrators. So this was just of the questions that were answered by the MEA spokesperson in the press conference. In the bulletins that follow, we'll get you other highlights of the press conference as well. Going back to our top story, we told you that an Air India flight AI-171 Ahmedabad-London Gatwick has crashed in Gujarat's Meghani Nagar. As per the information received, there were 242 people on board. The 787 Dreamliner aircraft took off at 1:38 p.m. local time and crashed just 5 minutes after takeoff in a residential area. In a post on X, Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that response forces have been quickly rushed to the crash site. Minister Shah also spoke with Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, State Home Minister Harsh Sanghvi and Commissioner of Police Ahmedabad to assess the situation. The state government of Gujarat has set up a control room at the State Emergency Operations Centre in connection with the Ahmedabad plane crash. The concerned can contact the control room on phone numbers 079 232 51900. I repeat, 079 232 51900. And the mobile number is 9978405304. I repeat, 9978405304. So these were the helpline numbers that have been started. Our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya is joining us with more on the incident. Tapas, we've given the details of the rescue and relief operations that are continuing. What details can you give us more, get us the latest on the situation, the relief and rescue operations, and have any details been confirmed?
Well, first and foremost, the CISF, NDRF and SDRF personnel right now are working to make sure that if they can find the survivors there, and we still haven't had any information regarding the about the survivors and even about the death toll, not just in the in the passenger aircraft but also outside. Like for instance, on the place where it crashed, we still don't know what is the current situation there about about the people who have died, of if there is any other casualty apart from the one which we've seen in the passenger in the flight. The other part is that internationally a lot of leaders in countries are pouring their support for India. In fact, we just got a tweet from the Russian president just now. Russian President Vladimir Putin has written to both President Draupadi Murmu as well as Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he wrote that please accept the deepest condolences over the tragic consequences of a passenger plane crash in Ahmedabad. Kindly convey the words of sincere sympathy and support to the families and the near ones of the victims, as well as wishes for a speedy recovery to all those injured in this catastrophe. So that is the message from Russian president. Then we also have Australian president, and he also spoke about the fact that the news of passenger plane crash in Ahmedabad is absolutely devastating, and in this time of tragedy, Australia's thoughts are with everyone affected, and our government is receiving regular updates, and we will continue to monitor the situation regularly. That's the message that has come from Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister of Australia, who has given his message. So overall, we can say that a lot of leaders are coming out and supporting at this particular time India's this particular catastrophe that has taken place. Agencies, all the agencies, be central agencies, the state agencies, are working in tandem. As I mentioned, they have created a green corridor to take the injured passengers or people who have been injured when the plane crashed on ground. So they are trying to take them out. It's not going to be easy, let's put it that way. It's one of those, probably one of those incidents which happened once in a decade or once in 2 decades. One of the in civil aviation, India's civil aviation history is one of the most horrifying incident that has taken place. So it's not going to be easy. the volatility, the manner in which all the state and the center agencies have come together, that also showcases the fact that how government is so serious, right from the top Prime Minister's office to the state CM office. Everybody is working in tandem to make sure that they had all the best possible people on ground to monitor the situation.
All right, Tapas, I'll take that forward to our correspondent Meghna Dev, who's joining us from Ahmedabad. Meghna, on our screens, we are showing very grave and very heart-wrenching visuals to our viewers. You're there at the ground. Tell us, what are you witnessing? Get us the latest first.
So, Preeti, currently we are seeing that now a very few ambulances are here because most of them have gone to the hospital, taken people who have faced casualties and people also people who have been injured. It's not just the people who were on the aircraft that have been injured, but also the people who were in the UG hostel mess, the medical students who were there. What we get to know is that it was lunchtime, obviously, so people were there in the mess, and there can be more casualties that can come because many people have sustained, many students, medical students have sustained serious injuries. But we definitely do not have the number as of now because it's a developing situation, and the treatment is underway. People are still being taken to the hospital. Also, I would like to, quote here the statement given by the DGCA. As per ATC, the aircraft has departed at 13:39 hours. And after that, what we see is that it departed from the runway 23. It gave a mayday call to ATC, but thereafter no response was given by the aircraft on the calls made by the ATC. Now, aircraft immediately after the departure from runway number 23 fell on the ground outside the airport perimeter, and obviously we did see heavy black smoke coming from the incident site. What many MBBS students have lost their lives is what we get to know at the moment. We'll definitely have to see what kind of casualties and fatalities will be reported once the administration gives us that number. But also there is a suspected bird strike that could have happened on both the engines, and that's how it lost complete power. So that currently is what there has been a statement from the DGCA that sums up this situation. Also, the captain, the pilot of the aircraft had over 8,200 hours of experience, and the co-pilot also, Clive, she had about 1,100 hours of flying, 1,100 flying hours. So obviously experienced people, but the aircraft did crash just after taking off. So there was hardly a couple of minutes that the aircraft was in the air, or we can, the people who did see the situation did tell us that it did seem that the aircraft could not climb. So, currently, obviously, after will be clearer. But the Gujarat Chief Minister also went to the hospital to meet the people who have been injured in this situation. And what we see in the city is that the city clearly is, there is a airy silence in the city. While there are a lot of sirens of the sirens blaring of the ambulance and the fire tenders, but the kind of silence that people are feeling at the moment with this kind of a devastating, tragic incident taking place here is something that is very heart-wrenching. We did initially come to the spot when this had happened. We could only see smoke. We could only see people being taken on stretchers. So nothing can describe the kind of visuals that we have seen today. Extremely heart-wrenching and definitely tragic for the families which have, who have lost their relatives or their loved ones in this tragic incident.
It is a tragic incident, a tragic day for the nation as well, Meghna. But then, as per the DGCA's statement which you've given us, we believe that the pilots were left with very little time to salvage the situation after that mayday call. But then, what do we know of the identity? What do we know about the identity of the people who were on board? What is the current status?
So 169 people, as has been told, are Indian nationals. Over 50 are British nationals. There are some Portuguese national citizens as well, and the Canadian national as well, who were on board. Definitely the casualties, all the list of the people who have lost their lives, the control rooms that have been set up, helplines that have been set up, hotlines set up by the state government, the emergency department, the health department, for that matter the civil hospital, wherein number of people have been taken by ambulances. This green corridor has been created. We can see the passage to the emergency services clearly being given here. What we also see that the people, number of people who are foreign nationals, their identity is also being ascertained. The DGCA, the airport authority, number of agencies have set up their hotlines, their control rooms, helplines, so that the people can ascertain where their relatives are, what is the situation currently. But very clearly, if we speak of the situation, Preeti, what I've seen on the ground, the kind of impact that I've seen on the ground, the aircraft turning into a firewall, there are very grim chances that anybody on board, very few people would have survived, very grim chances. Bleak chances of survival, because this was a very devastating impact that we could see only smoke when this crash happened.
Meghna, you're talking of the devastating impact, but
we could only see ambulances and we could hear sirens. Nothing was very clear.
All right, Meghna, now this crash where it happened, I would want you to get us more on, on that area, Meghni Nagar. Get us a sense of the area there. Is it a densely residential area? Because you tell us that the maximum number of casualties happened in the hospital mess. Get us more on the area, the surrounding area to that hospital mess. Help us understand the gravity and the severity of the situation there in Meghni Nagar.
So when we are looking at this area, Preeti, it is not an area which is outside the city. It's a very hustling, bustling residential area. The civil hospital is very nearby, the airport is very nearby, and this area is no such area where this crash has not happened in a ground or in a very secluded place. This has happened in a residential area for that matter. So this even brings creates an even worse impact. What we see, that debris removal is still going on. We have been seeing municipal corporation people going from here and trying to see whatever debris that is being removed. We have seen fire tenders still working, because there are also some more procedures that the fire safety department does, so that there is no fire again at this place, or if there is anything still remaining which could probably have a short circuit or create another fire, any other fire incident, that could be avoided. Number of medical personnel from the nearby hospitals have been deployed here. The railway, the Western Railway, has also deployed medical personnel for assistance in this situation. But most of the people, even worse than third degree burns is what we could actually see when people were going in the ambulances. We could see even worse than third degree burns on people. So a lot of medical assistance is being provided. 4 teams of NDRF, 2 teams of SDRF, number of ambulances, 108 vehicles, emergency services, everything put on a war footing. But the impact clearly states that what we could see, that the impact would have hardly, a miracle would save a few people in this crash.
All right, Meghna, thank you so much for joining in with those details. That was our correspondent Meghna telling us about the gravity of the situation there in Ahmedabad. Our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya is there with us. He is there in Delhi. Tapas, help us understand, this disaster in detail. Pilots giving mayday call to the ATC, which were not responded to, is what we believe, as per the statement by the DGCA. What more do you make of that final hour which led to this disaster? Because we believe that all the protocols, the security protocols, had been followed before the flight actually took off.
Right. So I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of, for that matter, the rumor mongering that is happening, whether who was at fault, who was not at fault. The fact of the matter is this, that when the flight took off, shortly after that, the pilot made a mayday call, and after that, the ATC couldn't get in touch with the pilot. What would have happened is anyone's guess. Once the black box is found, once the DGCA and other authority, BCAS and other authorities in the Civil Aviation Ministry get down to the business, they understand what exactly happened. They are the only one who can actually stitch together a correct version of what exactly would have happened at that particular time. One thing is for sure, the flight didn't get enough elevation. That is for sure. Whether it was a bird hit or it was engine failure or it was some other sort of a thing, that we will have to wait and see and get the whole picture clear. But there's one information that I want to share, and it's very tragic. I'm constantly saying this. It's a tragic situation. It's a gut-wrenching scenario where even thinking about it makes you makes your gut shiver. You feel bad about it. But still have to we are in a profession where we have to give information, and we are in the information age. So I'm just putting it across for other passengers or other people who will be watching this. The Ahmedabad airport, the Civil Aviation Ministry has just come out with the information that the Ahmedabad airport is now available for flight operation from 16:05, that's 4:05 IST onwards. So earlier it was shut down for any sort of movement, passenger flight movement. Now it has been started. Flight safety protocols are being followed with utmost care. That's the information that the Civil Aviation Ministry has come out with. Now, if you take a close look again, at how things have been done, we still don't know what made the pilots say Mayday. They were, as per the information that we received officially, they saw there was a black smoke coming out of the flight. Where that flight, black smoke was coming out, what kind of a thing would have happened at that time that it didn't get the required elevation while it was going on. That's anybody's guess. But understand the fact that more than 240 people. We still don't have the information, but there is a chance that none of them will be surviving. If that is the case, then you imagine where the flight actually came down, where it landed or it crashed actually. There is a possibility that a lot of people will be they will be there. There will be also there will be also casualties on ground. So we have to understand that what better way we can take them out with if there is any requirement of medical aid, how we can provide that. Getting to the bottom of this mess or this crash, it will take time, and the more we talk about it, the more we will understand that we don't know anything. Till the time the black box is not found, till the time we will not have a clear picture of any other information. The good part is that not just the center but the state, every single person have come out in one line to make sure that all the efforts are in sync for this particular crash and this particular tragedy. So that is one part of it. Rest we will have to wait again to assess the situation as it turned out.
Yes, Tapas, you rightly put. A lot of responsibility also lies on us as media persons to ensure that we present the news as it is. It is too early to speculate on the cause or, for that matter, what led to this disaster. But a lot of questions also emerge on the aircraft, it being a Boeing aircraft. What do you make of it? Help our viewers understand, because this is not the first time a disaster has struck a Boeing aircraft. We've seen the Alaska Airlines also face a crisis mid-air. So, in the past also, Boeing has come up, has had to face, such crisis earlier also. Help us understand the status or the aircraft being of Boeing made. What is your analysis or what is your reading of this?
Well, let me just put it this way, that this is a Boeing Dreamliner. It is
yes.
Well, as per the company and as per also the other report, is one of the safest flights you can say. It's a wide body aircraft. You can have a lot of people in that particular aircraft, and there is, you may have there will be occasional accidents and all that, but it is still difficult to pinpoint what went wrong. You can say that it's a Boeing aircraft, there can be something wrong. You can always point a finger there, but I am not in that zone. I believe that it is high time we understand where that mistake happened. Whether it was a mistake at the ground level, where they should have done the checking, whether there was a bird hit, whether there was anything else. Anything sinister in that. So we don't know exactly what was the scenario. Dreamliner is one of the best passenger aircraft in Boeing's Stable. Many airlines in India, be it Indigo, be it Air India, uses that. So and in fact internationally it is one of the most used passenger aircraft. So I'm not sure just to point a finger will be the right thing to do. In fact, if you take a close look at international crashes, over the years, you will realize that in India, the rate of crash or rate of accident is one of the lowest in the world. Just to put it in perspective, airlines with the most plane crashes. I was given a small brief from one of my friends. He came out with the fact that Air France, American Airlines, all these airlines have a higher degree of accident or plane crashes in comparison to any of the airlines in India. In fact, in the top 10, top 15, none of them were Indian. So that says a lot about the stringent checking that take place on ground and also on the airlines, on the flight, on the aircraft. So it is very difficult to exactly pinpoint where, if there is a mistake, where it was. So only after the DGCA, the Ministry of Civil Aviation, Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, all these people will get down to business. They will check in threadbare what exactly went wrong. Then only we will be able to pinpoint the mistake that, or if there is any mistake that can be found. But right now, God save those souls, and the family whose family members who were there and traveling in that particular
Yes,
flight.
indeed. India has an account of the least number of air accidents, but then such horrific crisis, such situations do give a rise to the the safety and security measures that have to be revisited. For our viewers who've just joined in, this is the big news we are tracking this hour. An Air India flight A171 Ahmedabad London Gatwick was in fact had crashed in Gujarat's Meghninagar today afternoon. It took off at 1:38 p.m. As per the information received, there were 242 people on board. Yes, Tapas.
Preeti, there's a news that is just coming in that the Indian Army has extended assistance to the civil administration after the flight crashed in Ahmedabad. The Indian Army team comprising of approximately 130 personnel have been deployed to assist the civil administration in the ongoing humanitarian assistance and disaster relief efforts following the crash of the Air India flight near Ahmedabad. The Indian Army team is currently having team engineering team with JCBs for debris clearance, a medical team comprising of doctors and paramedics, quick action team, firefighting asset and fire extinguish, and along with the military hospital also has been put on a standby in case there is a requirement for that. So the Indian Armed Forces, as usual, have come to the rescue. They are the first responder. We have seen that even during Myanmar earthquake. We have seen that and many other in India's disaster relief operation. And here is another example of that.
Yes, indeed. So every strata of the security establishment in the country, has got together in this hour of crisis. But then, Tapas, a very important concern for the state government, for the centre at this point is the rescue and relief operation. It is continuing. Details are still awaited. But then the main concern, the prime concern of the administration at this point is to give medical aid to the people. how do you gauge the situation with which the state government is facing? We tell our viewers that, every possible help is being extended. We have messages coming in from the Prime Minister, from the President, and every part of the administration, be it centre or the state administration, is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that these services are given to those people, to those who are affected by this crash. But then, as a journalist, as a reporter, how do you gauge the challenging times the state government, the centre at present face?
This is one of those periods where both centre and state government work in tandem. Just to put it into perspective, India's Home Minister has rushed to Ahmedabad. He is on his way right now as we speak. He is on his way to Ahmedabad. And Prime Minister's office has already said, spoken to Prime Minister has himself spoken to the Gujarat Chief Minister. So there is a synergy that is going on. There is a synergy between both centre and the state to make sure that every possible help and assistance can be provided to all those who are affected, not just at the passengers who were in their flight, and not just to the family members of the passengers who are eagerly waiting for the news of their loved ones, but also to those people where the flight actually crashed. I'm sure about there will be casualty there too. So family members of those people who were there, they will also be looking forward to a situation where they can have a scenario, they can get more information, and all the assistance can be provided. And none better than Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who knows Ahmedabad like a back of his palm. He knows that place. He knows Gujarat. He knows Ahmedabad. He has just gone there. I mean, he has left for Delhi to be there to take first-hand stock of the situation. So it is imperative to see the seriousness of the government, both centre and state, to fight this particular situation that has taken place after the crash that happened.
All right, that was our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya spelling out more details on the current situation there. Also, as we speak, we tell you that rescue and relief operations are continuing. Details are awaited, but the state administration, along with the centre, are leaving no stone unturned to ensure that services are given to those who are affected. It is a horrific crisis, a horrific tragedy that has struck the nation, and the people there in Ahmedabad are not just affected, but this tragedy has had an impact on the nation as a whole. It has been a heart-wrenching day for not just the people there in Ahmedabad, not just for the people who were travelling, their loved ones, but for a nation as a whole. On that point, we'll end this bulletin here. But news and updates continue on DD India.